Yo, this is my first NBA mock draft on this channel. Have not done one yet, and for this, I wanted to do a lottery sim because I wanted to get unique perspectives for different picks. So let's just get it going. Let's sim the lottery, and the top four are going to be Indiana, Brooklyn, Washington, Golden State. That is interesting, and yeah, we're just gonna start this up. We'll just do fans vote consensus and we're just going to do the whole first round. All right. So for Indiana, obviously there's the top three. Everyone knows this is the top three, and then there's a little bit of gap for Caleb Wilson. But my thinking for Indiana, and this is going to be what I would do, not a prediction, because I just want to more so talk about my favorite prospects and what I would do if I was these teams. If I'm the Pacers, it's tough between Cam Boozer and AJ DeBonsa for me because I like Cam Boozer more, but AJ DeBonsa, I feel like he could kind of fit this team more because like they have Obi Toppin, they have Pascal Siakam, they have Jarris Walker. These guys are all guys that can play that kind of four spot, and they don't really have as many longer wings. So with that being said, and like Tyrese Halliburton isn't really a go-to scorer. Pascal Siakam kind of is, but they don't really have that necessarily. And AG DeBonsa would be exactly that. And positionally, I just think he fits Indiana pretty well. Even play style wise, I don't know if he fits the best, but I don't really care. Like positionally and scoring, he's going to be amazing. So yeah, I'd go AG DeBonsa with the first pick. For Brooklyn, this is pretty easy for me. They drafted a bunch of guards last year. They drafted Yegor Demon. They drafted Ben Saroff. They drafted Nolan Traore. And they drafted Drake Powell, not necessarily a guard. And they drafted Danny Wolf, but not necessarily a guard, but kind of a wing. They could definitely use who I think is the best player in the draft. If you look down here, their big situation, they got decent center rotation, but here it just doesn't look good. And I think Cam Boozer is the best player in the draft. This would be easy Cameron Boozer for me. He is absolutely amazing. Offensively, he's so versatile, rebounds the ball extremely well. One of the highest IQ players in the draft, an insanely good passer. 4 assists, don't even tell the story. He's awesome. And then the third pick, you're drafting Darren Peterson because that's the top three. But, something he could do for Washington, I feel like he could play next to Trae Young better, honestly, than what AJ DeBonsa or Cam Boozer could. And you traded for Anthony Davis and you have Alex Sarr. So I actually kind of like Darren Peterson for them. The only thing is, like, where does Trey Johnson fit in? Is he just a certified bench player? Like, I don't know if that's awesome for Trey Johnson, but, like, talent is talent. So if Trey Johnson's going to end up being a bench player, like, that just shows that the Wizards do have some talent. And then you could play, like, Keyshawn George, and you have Bum Carrington. You're starting to get talent in the building, and that's what they need on this team. And I think Darren Peterson could fit really well next to Trae Young. He's amazing. I don't even think he was utilized great at Kansas. They kind of used him as like a Duncan Robinson when he should be more of like a lead ball handler and be able to make decisions more. But he's an insanely good shot maker. He has a good body. 3-point shooting is one of his best things. He shoots it well and he has a lot of volume. He has a super creative handle. His creative finishing package. Like, he's just a really good player overall. And Washington would be getting a very, very, very good player here at number 3 with Darren Peterson. And then number 4, I mean, this is easily Caleb Wilson as well. But I his fit with the Warriors is certainly interesting. I don't know if I necessarily love his fit with the Warriors just because he can't really shoot at all, and he's kind of like a create for himself type of guy. But I mean, who else are you gonna pick if you're the Warriors? You definitely pick him. Defensively, he's amazing. Offensively, he kind of reminds me of like Jalen Johnson, and the Warriors could use a Jalen Johnson because they need people for the next chapter of the team. So you can't really draft people at this point for fit around Steph Curry and Draymond Green and Jimmy Butler, and so because they're all getting old. Maybe if you were pick 11, you fit more for pick, but at pick 4, when you have someone as talented as Caleb Wilson, I mean, no, you go with Caleb Wilson and you don't think twice. For Utah, this is certainly interesting because they have Keontae George, who broke out this year. They have Isaiah Collier, who's a good backup big, probably the best passer on this team. He just can't defend anything. At the 2, like, I assume it's gonna be Ace Bailey. Oh my gosh, man, these ads. I assume it's gonna be Ace Bailey, but um, you could use another secondary ball handler, and there's a lot of them here. And because then obviously you have Larry Marketing, Jaron Jackson Jr., Walker Kessler, like Kyle Filipowski will play, Yusuf Nurkic should play, Cody Williams is another wing. So yeah, I think you could use a secondary ball handler. I really like Braden Burries for them, but I think at five is a little high. Um, they, I don't think Braden Burries is good enough to suggest over a Keen Wagler or a Kingston Flemings, and so that's kind of where I'm at. Kingston Flemings definitely a good ball handler. Same with Keen Wagler. Keen Wagler has a little bit more size, but he doesn't really play 6'6". Kingston Flemings does look a bit small out there defensively. I think could be concerning next to Keontae George just because they're both smaller, could get pushed off their spots. He settles for mid range a lot, and Keontae George also kind of does as well. Keen Wagler has more volume from three. He's also a little bit more stout defensively, in my opinion. It's tough. I like Kingston Flemings more as a player, but for the Jazz, I kind of like Keen Wagler more. And if I'm going to draft for the Jazz, I'm going to go with Keen Wagler. I just his 3-point volume is his ability to make plays for himself, and pass and defend. And like everything about him, just I feel like it screams a better fit for Utah, and he also answers the secondary ball handler for them as well. So yeah, I'm gonna go with Keen Wagler for them. Now for Sacramento, this is certainly interesting because they don't really have anything worth talking about. I mean, contractually, terrible contract for Zach LaVine. Look at that. Sabonis, not terrible contract, I guess, because he's actually kind of good, but not great. DeMar DeRozan, not a good contract. DeAndre Hunter, I don't know why they traded for him. Big contract. Malik Monk, a big contract. Trey Lyles, he won't be on the team, so that doesn't matter. But Keegan Murray's contract extension is about to go in. They have the only young guys they really have is like Devin Carter, who hasn't been good. Nick Clifford, who's an old rookie, and Maxime Reynaud, who's also an old rookie. So it's like they don't really have much young talent. Like obviously their defense is terrible, but so is their offense. They're just not good whatsoever. So me, I would just take an upside swing here if I'm Sacramento, which is Darius Acuff. I mean, offensively, his ceiling is insanely high. Defensively, yeah, he's really 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 bad defensively. But I think if you're Sacramento, you have to take upside swing because you don't really have anything right now, and then figure it out later after you get some of these terrible contracts off the team. But yeah, I'd go Darius Acuff, and he can be something that the Kings fans can get excited about. Ooh, Memphis. This is an interesting one because you do still have John Morant. Are you drafting because you have John Morant? No. But like, look at some of the guards they have. They have Scottie Pippen Jr. They have Walter Clayton Jr. They have Ty Jerome, Cam Spencer, Jalen Wells, like Cedric Howard. These are all guys that will play. These got all guys that can play, and they're definitely rotational guards. Then you only have Zach Edey at the big because like Kyle Anderson's not even on the team. I don't know why it's showing him. Um, Taylor Hendricks, Gigi Jackson, Brandon Clark. Like, this is not a great lineup. So, like, I feel like they could use a different position other than what's on the board, but what's because of what's on the board, it's like you could take a lead ball handler or you could take like a Braden Burries. What do I think they need more? I think they have a lot of guys who can dribble and who can play make. So I think Braden Burry is an off ball player that rebounds, passes. Well, actually, his passing's not his best thing, but shoot, rebound, defend. Like he does more of the little things. So I think Braden Burries is a decent fit for them. Even though I would kind of like for them to get some size and some depth at some bigger positions, but there's just not really anything on the board here that suggests for them to get that. Number 8 with Atlanta, yeah, they could definitely use another ball handler. Like they have Nickeil Alexander-Walker, they have C.J. McCollum, but they could 100% use and Dyson Daniels. But like Dyson Daniels, I don't love Dyson Daniels just because offensively he doesn't really do much because he just has no shot. So yeah, this is a super good spot for one of these guards to go for sure. Which one do I like the most for them? It's tough. I'm definitely between these two, Kingston Flemings and Michael Brown Jr. But I just think Kingston Flemings is better than Michael Brown Jr. He can shoot the three, even though I wish he shot the three more, but he can shoot the three. He's efficient in the mid range. He can get to the rim, even though his free throw rate isn't great, but he still gets to the rim defensively. Like I like Kingston Flemings a little bit more. And next to this Atlanta team, I think he fits what they can do. So yeah, I like Kingston Flemings, and it's a steal getting Kingston Flemings at number 8. Next, the Dallas Mavericks. I think this is a perfect spot for Michael Brown Jr. Gives them some more 3-point shooting next to Cooper Flag. I think that's something that you really like. And with their bigs and Derek Lively and Daniel Gafford, mainly Derek Lively because he's more long term. A role big next to Michael Brown Jr. I think could be really good, and it could give him some room and opportunities to get his 3-point shot off because that's what he really likes doing. And yeah, I think Michael Brown Jr. is an awesome fit for this Dallas Mavericks team and something they could be really excited over. His playmaking's really good. Yeah, he didn't have the best year at Louisville, but in USA ball, he was like the best player on the team, and that team had AJ DeBonsa on it. So there's stuff to be really excited for him. At number 10, the Bulls. This is interesting because this is a player that I always liked Patrick Ngungba for, but Patrick Ngungba is now coming back to Duke. So yeah, he's not going to be on the board, but like, are they taking LeBaron Finlon? I don't think so. I just don't really think that's a good pick right here when you have Josh Giddey and all those other guards that they have. Personally, what I like here is a Daymara. Their center position is weak. A Daymara, he's going to be a riser on draft day because of the tournament he had. People are going to fall in love with this guy, and he has a lot to like. He's huge, great positional size, a very good rim protector. He can really pass. 2.4 assists don't tell the story. He can finish at the rim. Like he's a roll man. He sets good screens. Overall, he's just a really good big man. And big men end up being underrated in the draft. So he's someone that I think Chicago would end up being really happy with. Maybe not insanely happy from his rookie year because sometimes it takes big men time. But like over the course of his career, I think Chicago would end up being really happy with a Daymar. Next, you have the Milwaukee Bucks, and this is another easy one for me because they signed Miles Turner to a long-term deal. I think LeBaron Finlon makes a ton of sense. I know you had Ryan Rollins have the breakout this year, but LeBaron Finlon's a really talented player. I like him a lot, but I think he could really be utilized best with a stretch big on his team, and that's exactly what Miles Turner is. So I think this is a dream fit. He's best player available as well, and so I don't think you really think much about this, and you go with LeBaron Finlon. Amazing handle, can get to the rim super well. Stops at the mid range and makes it. He can shoot the three ball really well. Just overall really sound offensive player, and next to a stretch big, I think that can really maximize him as well. So I would easily go with LeBaron Finlon. It's like a perfect fit for Milwaukee. OKC. So again, this is what I would do. What I think they could end up doing is going with a swing with like Nate Met, or going with like a Yaxel Lendeborg because he could like contribute right now, and I don't think that's a terrible idea. Um, I don't like Nate Men actually, but like I could see him take the swing, like a Cole Pete. I don't think they would go Cole Pete. They'd probably just go Nate Man over Cole Pete, but still, like I could see them go with the swing, but I don't like these guys as much. And this is what I would do. Oh my gosh, this is what I would do. So that is not gonna be what I do. I like Heinz Steinbach for them. Just another rebounder, has really good size. I don't know about the future of iHeart. You could also, if you could convince yourself with Quaintance, I think that would be a good pick as well. But I think Steinbach makes a lot of sense for them here, to just in case of Isaiah Hartenstein leaving and Thomas Sorber hasn't even played yet, so you have no idea how he's gonna look. So yeah, just to get some depth here. I mean, they don't really need this pick, so it's whatever you pick here. It would just be to get some depth, and if it ends up turning out, then they win even more than they need. Next, the Miami Heat. So if this is me, something that I feel like they struggled with what was some some ball handling ability, some shooting, but they has Casper Siakachonis, who I like, so it's hard for me to convince myself to go guard. Tyler Hero and Norman Powell can't play together, so I expect one of them to be gone. If I'm being honest, their wings like Jaime Hawkins Jr., Andrew Wiggins, like they were good this year, but are they long term guys? And then like obviously you don't need a center, so you could use a wing that's like versatile. But and the Axel Lindeborg actually shot the ball pretty well this year. Thomas Howell went back to school. Um, but someone I actually really like for them is Dalen Swain. I just like him as a player. He can self create for himself super well. He's a really good free throw. He gets it downhill super well. Defensively, he's really good. I like Dalen Swain a ton, and I think for Miami, he's someone that I would be really excited about if we ended up getting him. Well, not we. I'm not a Miami fan, but like if you are a Miami fan. Now to Charlotte. This is tough, but it's not too tough. I think they could 100%, as much as Moussa Diabate was good this year and Ryan Kalkbrenner was pretty good this year. Actually, now I'm kind of convincing myself that if I was them, maybe I am okay with that center rotation. Maybe I wouldn't go with Acquaintance. Maybe I would go more like a Lenneborg or a Bennett Sturts, or I wouldn't go Nate Met. I like Bennett Sturts a ton, but they have Kobe White. No, I wouldn't go Bennett Sturts. If anything, I would go with Lenneborg, just to have a dynamic player. I'm gonna go with Axel Lenneborg. He's dynamic. He can guard. He actually shot the three ball decently well. He's overall just an impactful player. Yeah, he's old, but Charlotte's trying to get impactful players. They had a really good like late surge at the end of the year. Didn't make the playoffs, but still like a very good second half of the season for them. And I think you just want to get an impactful player, and you're getting that in Axel Lenneborg for sure. Next was Chicago. This is certainly interesting as well, because again, like I really like Bennett Sturts. You could convince yourself that they would go with Nate Event. I think if Nate Event was here for them, they would just do it. Even though I was been saying this is what I would do, like I just don't see a world where Nate Event gets here and they don't go with Nate Event. So I'm gonna just pick him, even though like I don't like Nate Event, but I just really don't see how he falls past the Bulls right here. He'll probably go even higher. So I'm just gonna do it. You get a Damar, you get Nate Event. Maybe Nate Event could turn into something. I mean, he's not efficient at all. He's super weak. Like I don't like him, but you could take a swing on him for sure. And then okay, now you have Memphis. This is what I was talking about earlier, getting some depth at that position. And if you go with Jaden Quayens, which is what I'm going to go with, I know he barely played last year, but at Arizona State he looked really good. And if you have 48 minutes of good center play with Zach Edey and Jaden Quayens, and you protect the rim at all times, that just makes you a better team. It makes you a better team. Zach Edey's had injuries as well, so maybe Quayens will have to step up at sometimes. And yeah, I think this is a very, very, very good pick for them. And getting Braden Burries and Jaden Quayens in this draft, I would be super excited if I was a Memphis Grizzlies fan for sure. And then back to OKC. I mean, this is a guy that I personally love a ton. I think I would be pretty upset if this actually happens because they just don't deserve to keep getting talent like this. If you also look like, yeah, is Topic? Topic hasn't looked great, so I don't know if you're really relying him as a secondary ball handler. You can rely on Ben Sturts. He's really good at everything. He's super skilled. Yeah, he's old, but I don't care. Is he athletically the best? No, but he's just a very talented basketball player. And if you just go from like the context of pass triple shoot, he's good at everything. So I mean, rich gets richer with getting Ben Sturts here. Absolute steal of a pick for them. Next up, the Hornets again. So I just gave them Lendeborg, and you still have some options. You have a Kristanak Jr. But you have a Morez Johnson, which could be super interesting. And just getting some more size. You have a Henry Vasar, which I really like. You have a Mokrivaz, which I really like. Man, this is tough. I think you get some size again. Personally, if I was them, because like if you look at their players that contribute, it's like you LaMelo Ball, Kobe White. These are two guys that do a lot. Sion James plays a lot. Brandon Miller plays a lot. Con Knipple plays a lot. You just had McNeely. You have Miles Bridges. Grant Williams plays. You've drafted T. John Salon before. Moussa Diabate, Ryan Kalkbrenner. I really like Diabate. Kalkbrenner's all right. I still think you could use another big. And who's my favorite big on the board right now? It's tough between Sinak, Vasar, and Mokrivas. I like all three of them. Morez Johnson's also just like really good. Gives you some size for sure. Man, I've convinced myself into Morez Johnson. He plays amazing defense. He rebounds the ball really well. Gives you good positional size. They already have a lot of 3-point shooting. And you get Yaxel and Morez back on the same team with each other, and you've seen what they just did together. They just won a national championship. So, yeah, very excited for this Hornets draft. If it ends up going like this, it would be really awesome for them. Next up, the Toronto Raptors. So, they're missing a lot of offense. That is something that I've definitely noticed, but they're also missing some center play. Like Jakob Poeltl sometimes doesn't even play. So I would definitely go with some center play here. Do I think they need rim protection? I think rim protection could certainly add a dynamic to this team, putting him next to Scotty Barnes and Colin Murray Boyle, some amazing defenders, and then you get a rim protector as well. So I'm actually going to go with Mo Krivas here for them, and I think this would be an absolutely amazing pick for them. Then you get San Antonio, another team that doesn't necessarily need this. They're insanely talented, but certainly you're going to get some size here for sure. For sure, you go with some size here because they already got a lot of guards. This is where Koa Pete could land if I'm being real, and I actually think he could provide some value next to Victor Wembanyama. So yeah, I'll go with Koa Pete. He has good positional size. He can defend. Yeah, he takes a bunch of mid-range jump shots, and in terms of like running an offense, he's not great. He doesn't really provide much on the offensive end. But you're next to Wembanyama, and you have De'Aaron Fox, Stephon Castle, Dylan Harper. Like you have all these guys, Devin Vassell, Colin Johnson, and they definitely could use some size. So yeah, I'm gonna go with Koa Pete here, and he's super talented. I mean, Arizona, a team that was super close to winning the national championship, and a Final Four team. So yeah, I'm gonna go with Koa Pete for the San Antonio Spurs. For Detroit, this is a spot where I always like to go with Bennett Sturts, but I had him going already. I mean, in the playoffs, you see they could 100% use another ball handler for sure. They need a ball handler bad, and there's one on the board here. He can really shoot. Shot like 43% from three this year, and he can handle the ball. He could be a backup guard when Cade comes out of the game, so that they could still run some sort of offense, and he could shoot, which they need a lot, and that's Christian Anderson. Christian Anderson fits Detroit super well in my opinion, and he can really play make as well, and he could just be someone when Cade needs a break, he can come in and provide value. So yeah, I think I like Christian Anderson here. For the Philadelphia 76ers, this is certainly interesting. They could use talent. One of my favorite players in the draft is on the board. You do have Tyrese Maxey, you have VJ Edgecombe, you have Paul George, you have Quentin Grimes. These are just players that impact. Drummond, Embiid, and Bona started a playoff game this year. You could use some size. You could use some talent. This is tough. Like you could go with like a Kareem Lopez. He gets some size. He can play off the catch. Cameron Carr. I really like Cameron Carr a lot. He shoots the ball crazy defensively. He just makes impactful plays. His arms are insanely long, and he's just good. Christian Jr. could provide them some size, some center play outside of Joel Embiid. Man, this is tough. This is a tough spot here. Henry Vasar would be pretty interesting as well for them, in my opinion. But I think Cameron Carr, he's super talented. Yeah, I don't know if you can play Carr, Maxey, Edgecombe, Paul George together, but like Paul George isn't a long-term piece here. Cameron Carr is someone that he's just a wing that's really good, does a lot of things defensively. He's really good, shoots the ball well. Hopefully, he could add him some weight because, like, yeah, 6'5", 175, that's pretty light for sure. But he's just a really good player overall, man. So I think you're getting a lot of talent here with Cameron Carr at 22. Then you come back to Atlanta, and this is pretty easy for me. Not easy, but this is easy what position they need. I'm going center for sure. They really only have Onyeka Okongwu. Mo Guy has been playing a lot, but he's not good. So you could go with Chris Jr. or you could go with Henry Vasar. I like Henry Vasar a little bit more, but like Chris might fit this team more because I think Sanak is more like defensive oriented and rebounds the ball insanely well, especially offensively. So I'm gonna go with Chris Jr. for them, even though I do like Vasar more. But Chris Jr. just provides a lot of value and is another big man that they can certainly use on this team. Next for the New York Knicks, something I think they're missing is they're not really not missing much if I'm being honest. Like at this point, you just kind of take a good player. You could be missing a little bit of 3-point shooting because Josh Hart doesn't really shoot it. Mikal Bridges shoots it, but he's always looking to go to the mid range. OG shoots it, Cat shoots it, Brunson, but like you can't really count Brunson because he just does everything. So like I don't think Isaiah Evans is bad. I don't think Kareem Lopez is bad. It's not necessarily answering the shooting problem, but he's just like an all around player that the Knicks could use, and they kind of just need talent at this point. But you could also go with like a Henry Vasar, who's just like insanely talented as well. I'm personally going to go with Isaiah Evans just because he's gotten so much better and he's a sniper. And if he keeps taking leaps defensively and improving his offensive game like he did in his sophomore season at Duke, I think he could just be like a really special player. So I'm gonna go with Isaiah Evans for New York. The Lakers, yeah, this is easy. Henry Vasar, they could use a center for sure. Jackson Hayes isn't very good, even though he had a good game yesterday. Even DeAndre Ayton isn't very good. I think Henry Vasar is going to end up being really, really, really good. They drafted one of my favorite prospects last year in Adu Thero, so another guy that I really like, Henry Vasar. I have him ranked, or I'm on my big board in the teens. And if you're getting a position of need and a guy that I've ranked in the teens at 25, and you're a Lakers fan, you should be very, very, very excited about this for sure. Next, Denver. So Denver, it's tough. Like I like Christian Anderson here a lot, but I already picked him just because like to have a secondary player that can handle the ball and make plays. But like this is your rotation, right? You have Jamal Murray, Bruce Brown plays, Christian Brown plays, Tim Hardaway Jr. plays, Peyton Watson. He's not playing right now, but he plays. Aaron Gordon, Cam Johnson. None of these guys play besides these two, and Jokic. You could use another big, but I kind of drafted all of them. So I think you just take a talent swing at this point because there's not really Floyd Badunga. If he goes into the draft's actually pretty good, but I don't know if I expect him to go into the draft. I'll probably go with Kareem Lopez, just talent grab at this point. Best available probably. Well, not necessarily in my opinion, but he's close to best available right now. So yeah, I'd probably just go with Kareem Lopez, even if he's not necessarily the best fit on the Nuggets, but just talent grab. For Boston here, yeah. So this is certainly interesting because Boston usually takes guys who can shoot it, who can make reads, who are smart defensively, and I just feel like Alex Caravan is a guy that just like fits Boston. I know he's old, but he just like fits what Boston does and wants to do. He has good size. He can play with them because they shoot a lot of threes. He fits their style really well, and he's a winner. So yeah, I'm gonna go with Alex Caravan for them. I think he really fits well as well. And Minnesota. So Minnesota, they're pretty good. They're kind of I think something that they might be missing is like some size because they come off the bench a lot of the time with Bones Highland comes off the bench, and then Ayo Dosunmu, who's not huge. Dante DiVincenzo starts, but he's not huge. Because then you got like Ant, McDaniels, Randall, and Reed. These guys are all big, but like from a guard perspective, they don't have a lot of guys that, like get downhill who are big and athletic and can make plays. Tonde Yesufu can do that, even though I don't really like him. Dame Sarr's just a guy that can play spectacular defense, and then anything you get offensively is just a plus after that. But I don't know if I necessarily like that for the Timberwolves. Billy Richmond could be interesting, but he's another guy like super athletic, could guard the best player on the floor, is a play finisher, play connector, but he can't shoot. And so I think my favorite at this point is Tunde Yesufu, even though he can't really shoot either, and he doesn't really play make at all. But you could buy into the athletic traits, buy into his driving ability and his size, and hope that ends up working out. Kind of built similarly to Anthony Edwards as well. This is a pick that I've had a lot of times. When you think about like their guard rotation, Donovan Mitchell, Keon Ellis plays a little bit, but he doesn't actually play a ton. Dennis Schroeder, James Harden, they don't really have a guy that can just like guard the best player. Because like Evan Mobley's a good defender. Max Strus isn't a bad defender, but he's not spectacular. And a guy that can be spectacular defensively and guard the other team's best player is Dame Sar. Yeah, like offensively, he has a lot of concerns. But if you get anything out of offensively, even if he ends up being able to just like hit corner threes, he's going to be spectacular because his defense is arguably the best in the draft. So, I mean, yeah, I love Dame Sar to the Cavs here. I think it's an upside swing, and it's a swing that's worth it. I have him ranked higher than this on my big board just because defensively he's so good. If you buy into any of the offensive potential at all, he could be absolutely amazing. And then lastly for the Dallas Mavericks, we drafted Michael Brown Jr. for them. You could just use a talent grab at this point, like best available. I don't really know what that is. Like back to school, back to school, back to school. I don't know if he's going back to school or not yet. Maybe it's announced. I actually don't remember. I don't know about Amari Allen either. Joshua Jefferson's probably going to the draft because he's a senior. Floyd Badunga, I don't know. I don't like Joshua Jefferson though, so it doesn't even matter. Like you got Zuby Ejiofor, Braden Smith, maybe Monchilovich, but I'm gonna go with Billy Richmond. Billy Richmond's a guy that I have ranked in my 20s on my big board. He's a guy that can go out there and guard. That I don't know if they necessarily have a lot of that at this point. At least at the wing position, he's insanely athletic, can get downhill, and he's a guy that for Dallas, getting Michael Brown Jr. and Billy Richmond, I think I would be really excited for. He might go back to school as well, but as of now, I don't think he has. So yeah, that's gonna be the full mock draft here. This is what it is. If you have any disagreements or your favorite team who you want them to select, I'm open ears, and yeah, that's gonna be it. And this is mock draft number 1, numero uno. How I stopped this? Oh yeah, we